Loud. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. And Sophie, if you could unshare, that would be great, or at least it's showing up on my screen, and it probably, I don't know what's going on there. I guess what I could do is fix it myself. So let's see, I could probably fix it myself. Sophie's having a little trouble, so let's see if I can do this myself. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're all set. Hi, everybody. This is kind of an important conversation mentally for some folks, particularly me, and I'm speaking for myself here because there's a lot going on in the world right now, and we all have our own informal networks to reassure us that all is well, and that when it isn't well, that we have a path to make things well. And so, this is one of those. This is an opportunity for you to connect up with others in the global tribe and hear their perspectives on what's going on. And I personally find it usually very reassuring, that even the toughest problems, we find a way to get through. And so we do have today a very special guest speaking. I don't think he's in the room yet. So we'll probably end up doing a little bit of a round the horn, if you will, just kind of go around to each of you. And those of you who wish to speak and give your perspective of opportunities and challenges you're having and any news that you see out in the world that you are observing, maybe understand, maybe don't understand. Global Chamber is all about opening doors to opportunities and at the same time making international business simpler. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is through Globi. And so we've started to introduce Globi, an AI tool, to our team globally. And so it's an amazing, powerful tool that we are now continuing to roll out to be able to answer questions about what next steps are, do simple things like, hey, I want to go to, and I'm going to be in Europe, and I'd like to go to any events that are related to this, and I'll be in these cities. What's coming up? And you'll be able to figure that out through Globi. And so the goal of technology is to make our lives simpler, and lo and behold, that's what we're doing. So Cesar Drabanco is leading that effort with Global Chamber. One of the things that just very practically we're doing at Global Chamber is in these events, we ask you to put an asterisk next to your name if you are a member of Global Chamber. So feel free to do that. And so that we can identify you. And what's kind of cool about that is typically what happens then is, okay, typically then what you're able to do is identify who the members are. Members of Global Chamber are trusted, are vetted, have a LinkedIn profile. We've talked to them, we know them. If for whatever reason they become untrustworthy, and there have been a couple cases where it became clear that it wasn't probably a great fit for the member in Global Chamber. I could count those on one hand. Then we find a way to ease that member out. So the good news is members of Global Chamber have been vetted, and we're continuing to vet them. And that gives you, as a member, some level of trust that you should have. Always vet, but continue to evaluate. While we're waiting for our main speaker to come in, I'd like to open up the floor. I see Ruby, I see Mohammed, I see Elizabeth, I see Demetris, all of you are very much in the flow of global trade. Would any of you like to say a few words about what you're saying and whether you understand it or not, or whether it's good or bad or indifferent, just to share what you're saying with trade right now? Oh, hi, Sadia. How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Where are you today?
I'm in New York. Actually, I'm in Long Island right now.
Where on Long
Um,
Island?
Lynbrook, closer to Long Beach, and the weather
Okay,
is absolutely gorgeous.
fantastic. That's great. Yeah, my grandparents both lived in Valley Stream, so we're just
Oh, okay.
and I
Right
had an
next
uncle,
door.
and I had an uncle. My uncle Bill lived in Lynbrook, so
Oh, okay.
very familiar with the area. You're involved with a lot of, I think, both importing and exporting, right?
Mostly importing. I'm a licensed customs broker for the US government. And so it's very challenging right now with all the new rules and regulations and the tariffs. We are actually not getting much guidance. So we're in a very challenging times.
Yeah. How are you making it through?
Lots of research, that's all that we can really do. Lots of research, just trying to do the best that we can.
When you say research, researching what?
Well,
Researching latest tariffs, or what?
with the latest tariffs, there's certain criterias for the 9900 numbers in their sequences that they're entering. We really don't have much guidance on that, so we have to figure out how to do it on our own. It's also very difficult for importers who are not used to paying duty, and now they're paying, $20,000, $30,000 on a shipment. I just had 4 kilos of medication for injection that the duty was $400,000 on, which would normally have been free. So it's yeah, it's hurting a lot of small businesses.
Amazing. Yeah, what types of products are you typically involved with?
So I specialize in food, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and medical devices, and I have seen the increase in pharmaceuticals from certain countries do not have any duty on them. But the food products, my clients are paying an additional 15 or 10% on many other products, and that's causing the price of groceries to increase.
How are they managing? What are some of the workarounds in terms of getting some of this funded? How does that work?
I have had some clients say to me that they are actually paying the duty and not charging it back to their clients because many customers don't want to buy the goods to resell it back to the consumers. Some of them are actually passing it back to the consumers.
Okay, it's a mix, and so we have an echo.
I don't have my
Let's see. Why do we
foot
have?
on. Oh, I cannot hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, yes.
I think you need to mute yourself, Miss Sadia, to avoid the echo.
Now try Doug.
Can, can you hear me?
No, it's still echoing and she's on mute.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, Miss Elizabeth.
Okay. How about this?
Oh,
I
try it
think
again.
I think we may be okay.
Yes, we're okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking to Sadia, so you can unmute yourself. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
No worries. We figured it out. It was my problem.
Yeah, but people are, imports have increased considerably during the last 6 months. The Port of New York, New Jersey has done 4.4 million containers for export and imports. And during the month of August, we did 800,000 containers. So there's a lot of business going on the East Coast.
Is that just kind of moving things prior to tariff increases and things like that? Are we going to see a dip here on the West Coast? That's the case. There was a record shipments coming in, and now they're expecting a dip over the next several months.
Yeah, I think it's because the West Coast, you don't have the China, many products from China, you know, the ships are not coming there. So many ships are calling right into the port of New York, New Jersey, and then going to other ports and coming back to New York, New Jersey before heading back out.
I see.
Sadia?
And anyway, I am a member of the Global Chamber of Commerce New York region.
Were you part of the group of with the Indian companies that visited a week or two ago? Did you?
No, I was
coming
not
in?
able to make it. No,
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. Elizabeth, did you have a question?
I do. Sadia, now that the government has gone into the shutdown, is that impacting the customs?
No, customs is because I handle perishable cargo, it's still being processed. And even some personnel from the FDA is still working, and USDA, they're still working.
But customs overall is the government aspects of customs is still moving forward, correct?
Yes, yes.
thank
Many
you.
people are working without, you know, being paid,
Without pay.
but trade is still continuing.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yes, it is.
Thank
Especially
you.
when you have tomatoes or peppers or fresh fish, you need to have it moving.
Yeah. How does that work where they're not being paid, but they're continuing to work? Is there belief that they're just going to get caught up at the end of it? Or is there some sort of an agreement on that? Or how does that work? Do you know?
I mean, I don't know much about it, but we've had shutdowns in the past, and I believe they're compensated for the time that they work.
Okay.
Well, and even the people that are furloughed are compensated at the end.
I would think so, yes.
Okay.
And
Great.
I love the picture of the port, the bridge in the back of you, Susan.
That's the Port of Los Angeles.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And they
Carriers na
have-
lang pinaregalo ni Frida. Naging practical kami.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Ano din yun, ewan po.
I think we've got that muted, so we're okay. Sorry, Sadia.
Yeah, that's okay. It's fine.
Have you met Elizabeth before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So
Nice to meet you.
Elizabeth is on our Global Chamber Los Angeles Advisory Board, and she works with manufacturers here in Southern California, and is a very not only capable and professional, but a very passionate leader on encouraging manufacturers to export primarily. But you're involved both on the import and export side, Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah, I can be. Yes. I tend to focus on the export because that's what helps our companies and our local economies.
Yes, Sadia is talking quite a bit about on the import side. What are you seeing on the export side these days? What kinds of behaviors are you observing?
Well, some companies are still exporting, so that's positive. And as you noted, I was at the Port of LA did share that there was a significant peak in imports coming into the West Coast, but that's expected to decrease now that most of the goods for the holiday are in. So we'll see. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, Sadia, isn't there another set of tariffs that went into effect October 1st?
Yes, there is, and we really don't have much guidelines on that.
So yeah, I don't know. It's things are moving, but it's not as active as it was before. I think there's some concern. There's just hesitancy.
Yes, there is. But with the products that I do, people are still importing because those are essential products. So food and pharmaceuticals, medical devices, we're still very busy handling those products.
Well, I'm glad to hear that trade is still moving. That's good. That's positive.
That's positive, and I think it will continue to grow. I was just looking at the news this morning, and the stock market seems to be doing really great. So something good is coming out of this.
Yeah,
There-
it's gonna keep coming. I think, Doug, I think that they can't stop us. We're global and we're unstoppable.
Yay.
I'd like to introduce myself to some and then just say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to others. I'm attorney Demetrius Evans of the Global Chamber of Commerce, like the best chamber in the world. And I'm so excited here in Chicago. I'm just going to share if that's okay.
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, of course, it's not going to start off where I wanted to, but let me just go back and tell you what we're doing in Chicagoland. We're looking at women in trade. We're just going to shift our focus a little bit because we believe that women are now shaping the future. Sorry to my fellows out there. Don't mean to say that you're not. And I know that you'll be helping us. But Chicago, we're going to gear up for one of our big GC signature events where we're looking at women in trade. We know that U.S. is a trade powerhouse. No matter what is going on geopolitically, we are continuing to trade. So thank you for that. We do have some global shifts. I see a lot of companies right now focusing on sustainability, which I think is wonderful. And then coming near shore, which unfortunately is, not so global, but at least keeping people in business. Here in Chicago, we are a transportation hub and we are connected globally. Our city's infrastructure allows us to create those connections, as well as the companies that we have in air cargo and specialized freight, as well as our flights coming out of here are to over 200 destinations worldwide, connecting the Midwest businesses to global opportunities across 6 continents. We have all these waterways, the Great Lakes and the Illinois waterway, the Gulf of Mexico. And then I wanted to so these are the corporate command centers that are here. Boeing, Caterpillar, for sure, ADM in agriculture, because we're still doing a lot of agricultural business in Chicago. But like I said, our focus right now in Chicago is going to be, we're looking forward to January, and we're going to put things in place to talk about women and our driving force of global trade and innovation. We believe this is the growth engine. Women-owned businesses have just continued to grow, the fastest growing segment of exporters and importers worldwide, driving innovation. So we're breaking down barriers. We're making local impacts, and we're talking about sustainability in our leadership. Women consistently lead in sustainable business practices, social responsibility initiatives, and community development that is benefiting us worldwide. So on the horizon, we're looking for only good things.
Amazing. How would you identify what's happening in Chicago versus other areas? Because Chicago has quite a bit of number of manufacturers, a lot of food and beverage, a lot of agriculture. How have they generally been impacted based on what you're seeing? Well, what was that?
I apologize. That's the dog. It's the people ringing the bell.
I see. I gotcha.
Doug, we are experiencing a lot of different changes, right? A lot of things going on geopolitically here. What I am seeing is especially the air cargo is continuing to grow. There's a new airport and changes in just right north of us. I think that's north, Indiana. So that their port and their airport is growing, and so we're connecting. I'm seeing all kind of business related to that. So yeah, I think it's kind of balanced right now. We'd rather it be more of the agriculture, of the technology, but we're, that part is a little slow, but we're going, I see businesses focusing on where the opportunities are rather than where there's any kind of hiccup, any kind of slowdown.
Got it. That sounds great. Well, how do you normally interact in the system? You're providing legal support for some of these exporters?
I like to operate when it's not emergency. So I like to be involved from the beginning and deciding if you are coming to the US, how can I help you with your structure? How can we look at your intellectual property, your assets worldwide, and determine where there might be any risk and any laws that might interfere with compliance, including customs? How can we abate some of this financial burden working through that? But many times I'm called upon when there is really a problem. So there's something that's stuck in customs in one country or another. There's a breach of contract. A shipment didn't make it at all. There's something that's already in court. So I'm dealing with both sides. I'd rather be on the former when it's taking advantage of skills and understanding of global trade on the front end. But hey, sometimes I can only convince people to give me a call when there's a problem, but I love it when there's not a problem.
Very cool. Oh, that makes sense. I just did get a message that Tom Cook, there was a conflict in his schedule. He may or may not be able to join us in the second half. So let's see how that works out. I know, Ruby, you are, and I don't know whether you can talk, but you are, because Demetris mentioned Indiana, you're a little bit further over there right now. And so you've got kind of an interesting view of the US and Africa. So if over the next half hour you're able to jump in and comment about that, please let us know. Ruby is our executive director for Accra. And I do need to circle back with you on an opportunity, another opportunity, Ruby. You spoke yesterday or the day before in Rashid Kuskaya's turnkey conversation. They're representatives for Global Chamber in Turkey, and Ruby talked about the opportunities in Africa, and certainly Turkey and that region has a lot going on. Mohammed Omar knows that real well because he's based in Turkey, and he's also our global advisor for Iraq, and particular expertise on Kirkuk, where he's from. We were talking the other day about the 4 probable chapters for Iraq, which was kind of exciting, including Baghdad and Kirkuk. So thank you, Mohammed, for your leadership and your expertise, and for bringing that in. A lot going on in your region, as you've described. Thank you. Does anybody else have some comments about what they're seeing out right now?
May I jump in and talk a little bit about a conversation that I had with a very large FMCG producer from Turkey to Iraq? I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Please go ahead.
I'm not sure if it's Trump effect, but Iraq has also announced tariffs 60% for the chemicals and cleaning materials, which is a surprise for me because we don't have enough local suppliers. We are independent on the global trade, but this step shows that maybe the tariffs started to, how you say, give appetite for the governments to have easy money and from the importers. But I wasn't very affected by the global trade when it regarding to Iraq because we are in import independent country, but and a couple of months paper and towel Kleenex and those kind of products will also have tariffs over 50 to 60%. So these are very, how you say, unusual news for me. But just wanted to share this conversation with you. And from my side, I am very busy for the last couple of weeks, as I mentioned lately that we haven't met. When it comes to global trade and businesses, I think software now is very demanded in Iraq. So I am representing a software company there, and we had a very good, how you say, uh, conversations. Maybe it will turn into project for the highest level for the Iraq, and also I'm happy to announce that we have submitted our first project for the fund that I'm representing also in Iraq, and they are looking very promising that maybe it will be also a success story. So it looks promising, but it means it's not business as usual. It's going to change something in the near future, I think. And this is my thoughts for this meeting.
I see. Great. Thank you for that heads up. I see there's a couple hands up from Chad and Paul. Chad, would you like to go first? What's going on? What are you seeing?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. Yes, so some things that we're seeing is I've been virtually building our company in areas like Pakistan, some places in Africa, Vietnam over the past few years, and especially in the region where Mohammed Obar just talked, in Iraq and Pakistan, Saudi, like that whole area, I think is just about to change big time. And regarding those tariffs, I'm not 100% sure on those, Mohammed, but I put in the company in there called Clean Core. They're a local one, tied to Warren Buffett in a way. And they started a $500 million crypto treasury here for Dogecoin. And it may have something to do with that, as we're starting to see companies do more and more of those as well, raise a lot of capital, and then buy a lot of crypto, because there's a whole new boom in that too. So thank you.
Thank you. Certainly that is a trend. Paul Martilla, thank you for joining, economic development expert, and also finding companies homes in new countries and new regions. What are you seeing, Paul?
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So yes, my company is Business Location Dynamics, and as Doug pointed out, I help with corporate site selection. My specialty within that is foreign direct investment. And so what I have seen, I was in Vienna a couple of months ago talking to very senior Austrian and German business officials about investing in the USA. And their major point to me was that it's not only the tariff uncertainty, the sort of capriciousness, the unpredictability, but just the general sense of uncertainty regarding the US market, giving them pause when it comes to making investments that might be, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. I'm going to be speaking in Doha in about 2 months at Foreign Direct Investment Leaders Network event, and then on to Dubai and Saudi Arabia as well, and possibly Oman, and trying to get a better sense of what those countries are seeing and doing. But I think the stock market in the U.S. notwithstanding, the uncertainty has given a lot of companies pause in terms of making major new sort of especially greenfield investments. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing.
I can confirm those kinds of things going on. I was on a call yesterday with one of our members that does EOR. I've the comments that he had were that particularly the last several months, that a lot of the different investments, particularly into the U.S., have been paused. I think, and I told him it's hard for us to see that because most of what we continue to see is action, is investment, particularly on some of the more hot countries like Japan, continues to move forward with foreign direct investment. And so, there's clearly some delay and concern in waiting things out, but there's also many people that are moving forward. So it is a little bit of a mixed bag, but it's not like it was a year ago where everybody was just moving forward. There's more concern for sure. Before I open the floor to Ruby, I wanted just to mention two different big events that are coming up for Global Chamber. One on Sunday in Vancouver, Canada. It's an introduction of Global Chamber along with the Global Renaissance Group and several other real estate initiatives all lumped in, and we're going to be announcing how these entities will be working together going forward, including having a platform. So I'm looking forward, I think, to going to Canada, although my wife, who is a worrier, whenever something gets mentioned, there's always like whatever the downside is comes out next. And the downside apparently is that the air traffic controllers aren't being paid and there's backups. And I don't know what the reality is, quite honestly, and I don't know how it is crossing a border at this moment, but I'm presuming it's probably okay and not a problem. And so we'll just have to see. So that's Vancouver on Sunday. And Jim Huang and Ellen Su, many of you know them through the weekly global real estate call that we do, will be there and we'll be making that announcement. And then Monday, we're just doing the final preparation for, it's a semiconductor event that is prior to the Semicon West, which is always in San Francisco. And next week, it's in Phoenix, the 7th through the 10th. And I can tell you that there's no holding back on that one. It's impossible to get a hotel. It's full. There's people from all over the world in Phoenix. They're going to be at the convention center, which is 2 blocks from our headquarters inside Thunderbird. And so they're going to be headed to that. But to us on Monday. And so we have a full house. I don't know when I'm going to cut off the signups. It's continuing to go up into an uncomfortable level. And so we'll just have to get a few more chairs and then just kind of figure out at some point to cut it off. But it's going to be a great conversation that's centered around the semiconductor industry and in particular how Mexico fits in. One of the fun things for those of us living on the border, I know having lived in Michigan and New York, it's harder to see like what's going on at the border. In Arizona, Texas, it's very easy. And Paul, you do too with San Diego, being close by with Mexico. There's a lot of activity going on with Mexico. And the event that we're doing on Monday, I'm very surprised at how the number of Mexican companies that are coming up that are interested in investing. It's a big change from a few years ago of not seeing that anywhere near what it is here. So it's very, very exciting. Did I lose Ruby? Oh no. Well, hi Ruby, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Doug. Hello, everyone.
Ruby, you are an expert on Ghana and Africa and trade. What are you seeing going on out there?
For us, Ghana is actively seeking foreign investments and trade opportunities. Just to give you an example, our president recently visited Singapore, and the government has set a target of $1 billion US in trade with Singapore. And they are looking to come and set up various factories in Ghana. The government has also launched a 24-hour economy strategy to attract investors. And just to update you, our inflation rate is now a single digit, 9.4%. So
Wow.
this is the time for people to look out to come and invest in Ghana. For me in particular, I am interested to know what happens after the lapse of the U.S. African Growth and Opportunities Act, AGWA. I don't see Dr. Sarita in the room, but I'll be interested to know what the risk is for Africa exports into the US, including Ghana. So it's a topic that I think we'll have to look at, and I personally will have a conversation with Dr. Sarita because she's very well known when it comes to that topic. Thank you.
That is actually a very good question. And I just talked to Sarita yesterday, and I'm happy to report on that is that she's been the advisory board chair for Los Angeles. So you're the first group to know that she has re-upped her both her membership in Global Chamber and her advisory board chair role in Los Angeles. And so she'll have that role for the next year. And I completely forgot about AGOA. and I should have, but there are some updates. It says AGOA has expired. What's next for African trade? And so that was September 30th, I believe. And so the government is also shut down. So that's a very good question.
Yeah, thank you.
But there is still, I mean, there's still movement to enhance trade to Africa. There's keen interest. That doesn't change. The AGOA, it's not uncommon that maybe it lapses a period and then maybe into the future it'll expand. But I do know that there are still companies that are talking, and there's keen interest to expand and to have two-way trade between our country and countries in Africa.
That's good to know. Thank you.
I hope that's the case. Isn't AGOA, is one way to characterize it is that it gives lower tariffs for some countries based on a variety of factors?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So without AGOA, that some, and I know Ethiopia is one of them, could be quite impacted on the negative side. So that is something to research, and for everybody here that's involved with Africa, let's see how that evolves. I don't know how long the government is shut down, but the last time this happened, I think it was at least a couple weeks. And so there could be a period of time here where we're not going to get a clear answer, and maybe till the end of the month. Who else has something to share?
Doug, I'm sorry, I just had a question, Demetrius, with the semiconductor event that's going on with involving Mexico. Are there opportunities for virtual involvement, or is it only in person?
Good news is that members may join virtually. Yes. So it will be a full house inside the room in the Global Forum at Thunderbird, and there are quite a number of people who are signed on, in terms of signed up for the Zoom. So go to the Global Chamber agenda, the event agenda, and sign up, and there is a Zoom option there. So.
Amazing.
And if you can come to Phoenix, of course, but Zoom is a lot easier, and it's 2:30 to 5:30 Pacific time. So Central, what's that? 4:30 to 7:30 Central time for you, Demetrius. So it's a 3-hour meeting. It's what we're going to do is we're going to have both Senator Mark Kelly and Representative Greg Stanton, former mayor, now U.S. representative. They're both speaking at the beginning, and then we have both Eduardo Gonzalez and Marcos Garcia Acosta leading 2 different main panels. One on the ecosystem, primarily from Arizona and how it relates to Mexico and the semiconductor industry, and the other one is more on Mexico. And we also have Texas and California represented as well in terms of the semiconductor industry and how they play into that. We have a success story of a company in Mexico in the semiconductor industry with Arizona ties. And then we have a variety of other people that are in the room that we're going to be introducing and sharing, and in every area, exporting products, importing into the US from different places, the support ecosystem, including Arizona State and Thunderbird. Anybody else have anything to share? We have about 10 minutes. Thank you, Bob Inofe. I think that's you, Bob, from Toronto, and Brandon Matuki from Kenya. Thank you for joining. We've heard from Chad. Thank you. Jim Cook, always a pleasure. Mila Catalan is a new employee of Global Chamber. Thank you, Mila. This is her second event that she's attended. We encouraged her to come and learn more about what members are like as she is ramping up. And so she's coming up to speed with what Global Chamber is about, and we're all about members. And so this is a great way for her to understand more about what we're doing. Thank you, Mila, for joining. Sayali, thank you for joining as well. And I guess you probably saw the introduction that I made to Jeff this morning. So welcome, and I don't know, that could be interesting. We'll see. Guess we could finish early if nobody has anything else.
I have something real quick too, Doug. What's
Sure.
going on in the world right now is we're shifting away from gross domestic product. That's one way to measure the economy, but it's rather wrong if you think about it. If you have an oil spill in your ocean and you go and clean up that oil spill, your GDP goes up. So it looks like your well-being is great, right? But what is being transitioned into is called global resource management, and that takes into account how well an economy, a society takes in or accounts for their environmental, their social, their happiness, really everything, right? It's a regenerative economy. So instead of everything being on a debt basis, like the GDP, with the global resource management, and now we can value natural capital, human capital, and put those on the balance sheet. We're about to see a boom of it's trillions of dollars again coming up, and then each one of those can now be broken down into units and invested into. And so when that comes live, I'm not 100% sure, maybe in the next few weeks, but there's a new institute that opened up called the Global Resource Management Institute. So there's going to be a lot of trainings for the new economy like this, just a lot of opportunity that the chamber will be able to take advantage of, definitely, especially with everybody in these types of fields.
Okay, I was not familiar with that, but I see in searching. I love the way Google is now, where it's giving us all the AI analysis. It's, as someone pointed out the other day, probably AI sometimes gives us too much information, but I like it. I'm able to kind of sort through it in a much better way. And so it is in somewhat competition with GDP, it sounds like. And is another presumably more accurate way of representing. So where does the U.S. versus China land when the new number is calculated under global resource management? Because you've got that issue where GDP, China, the U.S., they flip-flop depending on how it's measured.
Yeah, so it's going to be, well, the number one is going to be the Commonwealth as a society as a whole. So that'll be one. And then the US, that's a really good question, because you got 5 times more people in China. US, their GDP is a little higher. So yeah, it's going to come down to see really the environmental side of it, the social side of it. And I think it's going to it's to align. You have all these different frameworks: well-being economy, donuts economy, everything, right? But the global resource management is meant to bring all those in, and yeah, really align everything. But that's an excellent question. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
it'll
we'll
be
learn
good to
more
work
soon.
with China though on it though, right? Like and this is where I think where hopefully the world will start coming together and at like the top political level of okay, it's a great reset. We're not competing on GDP anymore. How can we manage the world's best resources? Mostly time, right? Because that's everyone's most precious resource. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We've got 5 minutes left. Does anybody have anything that they need, or do you have anything that's coming up that you'd like to share? I'll lay that out and just open up the floor to any particular needs that you have or anything you'd like to share. What kind of help do you need right now? Who would you like to meet? I think this is our last meeting for the week, so this is your last chance to last chance to share. Bob, I don't. I see your emoji there. You know, being from New York myself and being a Yankee fan, I one of the really remaining sports that I stay involved in following, because I don't follow football anymore, and most I don't. But baseball, it's been hard for me to get away from. So yeah, last night the Yankees beat the Red Sox, and that's the great rivalry that's been going on for forever. I remember as a kid, you know, the rivalry between the two, and it's a fun one. And so it was great to see. And now, Bob, you in Toronto, it's going to be Yankees Toronto starting on Saturday. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. I know we have a number of Toronto Blue Jays fans that I'm sure feel really good about their year. Yankees are going down. It could happen. We'll see. We'll see. So, so that's certainly happening this weekend, and the U.S. government shut down, and I think the G20. Isn't the G20 still coming up in South Africa? I didn't skip over that, did I? I thought that was still coming up in South Africa. And the UN just wrapped up high-level meetings the last couple weeks. I'm not sure what else is coming up on a global scale, but watch the Global Chamber newsletter and stay in touch with that. And as you have needs or you have interests, more and more as Globi comes on, we'll be able to interact, hopefully in a very efficient and effective way, and be able to help members on a more ongoing, less ad hoc is the word that I'm using, less on an ad hoc manner, more on a regular basis in a more helpful and productive way. So thank you all for joining today. We'll wrap up. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and be global. And Demetrius, what do you think?
Be unstoppable.
Absolutely. Global and unstoppable. Let's do it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Bye.
Thanks, Demetrius. You're amazing.
You are amazing as well.
Thanks. Take care.